So our vision, my vision for Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press is very simple now. It's just 6 words. Elevate global consciousness through individual empowerment. And I got this, I downloaded this, as it were, at Laura's event 2 weeks ago. She had an event called The Path to Freedom here in LA. I've been in LA this is my 3rd time in October being in Los Angeles, so it's like a second home now. But being at that event, and really being at any event where you're just tuning in and focusing on yourself and the outcomes that you can achieve, the reasons that you came here, right? That was part of the reason I go to Laura's events, is because I know I can carve out a space to get the next insight, get the next download that's going to be helpful for me. And it came through loud and clear. I mean, I see our work as a publisher with all of these books and many more coming out. I see reading, I see consuming book content as an individual experience, right? If you think about it, either you've got your earphones in if you're listening to an audiobook, or you're driving in a commute by yourself. You have that one-to-one relationship with the author. Maybe you're sitting curled up on a couch reading a paperback, or maybe you're traveling on an airplane and you've got your Kindle and a whole bunch of books that you had been meaning to read. In any of those cases, I see reading as largely an individual experience. And I see in aggregate the accumulation of knowledge, the accumulation of wisdom as a way to elevate your own level of consciousness. And so if we can affect that globally through publishing and promoting books all over the world, then, you know, it's compelling enough for me to get up and go to work every morning, right? And I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek, but actually this is something that really drives me and really is a vision that I find myself growing into. If you asked me a year or 2 ago, it can change, right? And it does change. And so I want to start to help everybody here get some clarity on your vision, right? For what you want to accomplish with your book, with the people that your book is ultimately for, and even as a result of having your book, what vision will you start to live into as the author of it, as the face, as the voice for your words, for your story, for your experience, for your expertise? So let's all think, and we'll put on some music here. This is a couple-minute free write on what comes up for you when you think about your vision for your work, your vision for your book. And I'll tell you, when I got to that sentence right here, it was after I wrote like 4 or 5 of them, right? So when we put on some music and write, I'll walk around, I'll chat with you each if you want. You've got some note pages in the back of your binders that says ideas and inspirations. And I want you to write down the vision that you have for your book now, the vision that you have in the broader sense, and then keep writing for a few minutes and see what else comes up as a result of that. See what else starts to become clear to you of what will need to take place to help actualize that vision. All feel clear? I see some of you starting to write, so let's put on a little bit of music. Let's put on some chill music. Do some vision music. How's everybody's vision coming along? I see a lot of you writing intently. Let's give it a couple more minutes then. Maybe some of you are done. That's fine too. All right, well, whether or not you're still writing, let's start to bring this back, and I'd love to hear some shares for what your visions are. I know I'm looking out in this room and see a lot of people with big visions. Some of your visions I'm familiar with. Some of them I'll get to know better over the course of the weekend and over time. But Who would like to share? And I'm kind of going to nominate Dan to go first. Since Dan he's got his forthcoming book, Nothing to Lose, is the first part of a trilogy on confidence, the 3X Confidence series. So maybe you can model confidence and be the first one to share your vision with us, Dan.
Check, we're good? All right. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
And, my original one, I was playing with this here. I actually put prevent human extinction, but I thought that was a bit dark. So what I've got here,
I did say also write down the things that need to happen to help your vision come true, right? So
yeah,
if that's on the list, Dan.
Yeah, without people, I got nothing. So what I've got here, promote the human evolution of confidence and empathy through authentic psychological transformation.
Let me say that one more time.
Okay. Promote the human evolution of confidence and empathy through authentic psychological transformation.
How many people resonate with that vision? Anybody feel like you could benefit from more confidence, especially if it was rooted in, psychology? Transformation?
Yeah, especially the authentic part. The kind of, for me, it's the falseness that really creates all the harm. And so getting to that more honest and truthful way of living.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been great with that. Thank you. I want to hear from Keith and Tracy, if you guys want to share together.
So building a faith-forward family, building your family team, bringing closeness, openness, and cheerleaders within your family, so that when you go forth out into the world, they have a support system. And also, these are some of my, because when I came here with Keith, actually, I didn't have a vision of a book, but I guess this kind of elicit if I were to go, this is what I would want to do. Another idea is insert from bringing faith for a family to form strong couples, stories of faith, stories of togetherness, stories of appreciation and gratitude, and how these families bring faith contagious to other members of other families.
Thank you. It's a beautiful. Thanks, Tracy.
Hi, I'm Keith. My goal was it started off to build a business, to live a good life, have the American dream. But it kind of shifted not because I wanted to. There's something bigger than me. And my vision is to change the mindset of world thinking so we could be in alignment according to the will of God and fully express ourselves and serve others at the highest level.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
I just want to say every time that we're together, I hear more clarity in your message. So thank you for staying in the work and staying in service, because it's coming clearer and it matters. Thank you.
Yeah, and you'll get to know each other better over the course of the weekend, but Keith and Tracy have an literally almost unbelievable story, which we'll share over the course of the weekend. Anybody else have some new clarity on your vision? Yeah. And say your name too if we don't know each other.
Yeah, I'm Janet Grace Nelson. I'm glad to be here, Jesse. Thank you. I met you through Brett Gregory through the webinar. So I have written a book, and I've been in a collaboration with another book. The collaboration is called Fearless Women: A Vision for a New World. So, but the vision that I came to some level of clarity today was to inspire passion and empower change to confidently live a purposeful life.
Anybody else resonate with that?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You know, Laura's book, Limitless Woman, a lot of, you guys should definitely talk over the course of the weekend. And introduce yourself, please.
I'm sorry, I'm
and stand
Allison.
up. Rise.
Rise. Breaking the cycles of the old and outworn, ushering in the new paradigm of self-understanding, heart-core expansion, and head explosion, united in blazing creativity, unfettered by the chains that have bound us to fear and separation.
Thank you. Great. Anybody else? Carol Ann.
Thanks. This is a work in progress. I envision a world where women are treated with respect and dignity and are celebrated for who they truly are.
I'll get behind that.
Well, this sounds very materialistic, but at some stage we have to be. So empower small business owners to take control of their numbers, hence achieve a deeper understanding of how to make and keep money to grow a flourishing, sustainable enterprise.
Who's on board with that vision? Who wants to not just make, but keep the money? I think that was the imperative word there, right? Making money and keeping money. Two similar concepts.
Provide a new understanding on spirit to support a post-materialism age.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah. For how many of you have shared what you've just shared here in a public environment before? Yes? Yes? How many of you is this the first time you've verbalized or even written down something to support your vision? Is that the case? If so? Yeah, so sort of a balance. But there's something about speaking it that is empowering, isn't it? Did you feel better after you said that? Yeah, I mean, I can see from up here, I can see your guys' faces. You know, the lights aren't so bright that I can't see you guys at this point. So I can see when you're like bubbling up and want to share, or when perhaps a light bulb moment goes off. And those are wonderful. Those are to be celebrated and to be shared into the room. So thanks for sharing your visions. We're going to elaborate these more and turn them into actual strategies. But I also want to share a special surprise with you. It's actually part of my backstory of how I got into publishing. It's interesting that throughout my whole, basically, life, my father's been writing. Long before I ever thought I'd write a book, long before I ever thought I'd start a publishing company, he has been writing and writing and writing. And now he's got his first book. And so, you know, truly, actually, this is from, why don't you come on up here for a second, Dad? Yeah, get up on stage. He's been one of my greatest fans and supporters. He's also the original lifestyle entrepreneur. He is somebody that every day gets up at 4 a.m. and writes. And so just from a writer's perspective, I'd say you've nailed it.
Well, I think it's more of a disease. I basically at 4 a.m. when I'm still, body's asleep, but my mind is very clear, I was told to write down whatever came into my mind. And so over the course of 15 years, I brought in like 14, 15 million words. And then the issue became, what was it that I wrote down? That was the hard part, because I had to then figure out, one, how to organize the material that came in, and two, what happened at one of the workshops. I was actually with Jesse by Stan Groff, a great therapist. We were doing out-of-body journeys, and
this is normal stuff that father and son does growing up. Just a little out-of-body journey when you're in high school. No drugs involved. Just breathing.
That's true. It was just breathing, and but with music and a monitor, so if you left the body, they would bring you back. But at the end of the workshop, there were 16 of us in there. We all were given a piece of paper, and we were told to draw a mandala. And I had never drawn a mandala, and here I am, 50-some years old, in a workshop, and told to draw my first mandala. Fortunately, I was the last person there to actually explain what it was, because they had everyone go around in a circle and explain what the workshop meant to them in a mandala. And some people drew pretty flowers, some people drew butterflies on elephants, and other ones had spiritual connotations in their symbols. And I, being the last person, I just basically had two black triangles that intersected each other with a little white light in the center. And it made everyone silent because it was not filled with life like everyone else's, and I had no idea what it meant. But it was on the day of 111100. And so the years went by, and my channeling of words turned into bringing in mandalas. And I had never drawn in my life, and I was not very talented. And some days I got mandalas coming in, and I had no idea what they were. So one came in that was in the form of a pentangle. And it looked like a tarot card, and it had a crescent, a triangle, a square, and a few other things on the outside. And so, not knowing what to do with it, I hired artists. And over the course of the next 10 years, I spent probably over $1 million with a wide range of artists, ultimately doing over 4,000 mandalas. And it ended up with the final person.
And you learned how to do graphic design.
Over the artist took me to a certain point, and then they couldn't go any further. They didn't have a...
So why don't you share your vision with us?
So the vision was really to create a social philosophy that would make it easy for everyone here to accomplish their objective. Now that was a pretty wild undertaking. I didn't have any idea where I was headed, but ultimately it turned into a universal social philosophy that I called the Star of Light. And the Star of Light actually is an energetic part of your body near your belly button. It radiates light out in all directions, and it connects you to consciousness, or we could call it God. And so the 1111 mandala ultimately evolved into a diamond of empowerment, which is something separate. But in the center was a star tetrahedron. And so a star tetrahedron is one alternative to atomic solid, but it is actually an energetic structure in your aura. And as I became very knowledgeable with sacred geometry, I found out that it was actually the essence of creation in our universe. When 8 star tetrahedrons come together, you get 64 points. And I go on and on for hours.
So do you have a vision that you want to share with us?
So the vision is basically, I think it'd be so much easier to understand where you came from, who the gods in the Bibles were, what is actually God's spiritual operating system, which I define as consciousness, our core star light, spirit, soul, body, and the body's mental, emotional, physical beings. So I want to make it easy for everyone here to accomplish their mission. And the Star of Light Publications is a nexus or a nucleus for people to publish the books, to enlighten people and help them to empower themselves.
So helping elevate global consciousness through individual empowerment?
That is definitely one item, but it then goes into the... You can see how he turned out by having to put up with me.
Let's give a round of applause to my dad. And so, you know, with that, that's sort of the opening exercise, is just opening up this channel for what your vision is, right? At the high level, the vision supersedes any strategy, any tactic. It's bigger than your book. It's bigger than what you do with your clients. It's that common thread and that overarching objective for where you want to help lead the world through your work.